Greetings, friends. Reformed Stoic, back with another video. It's just one of those days, baby. Whew, it's just one of those days where it's video time. And I don't really even have a topic in mind, but you know what? A lot of times that ends up being the best videos. 2026. I'm just now starting to get over my sickness, I think. My left ear hurts a little bit, but at least it's something different. You know, it shifted from my throat to my ears, so whatever. It's on its way out. We're fucking going to the gym every day. I don't even give a fuck anymore, bro. Because I need to live. I need to be alive. I need to get this year rolling. MOGGY JR is a little bit over a week out. I believe the first falls on a week from this Sunday. So be there, be square. I eased up on the daily promotion a little bit. A long time, man. It must have been like over 3 weeks between when I announced the release and the release. But I'm going with my gut. We're going with fate, boys. This video is called Sink or Swim, Chud. Sink or swim. I've made prediction videos in the past talking about vibes I'm getting and the energies and the dimensions and the beep 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 beep, the psychic shit. And this year's starting with a blammy. This year is starting with a blammy, you guys. I got sick right out of the gate after trying to hold it together for the holidays. I'm like, look, everybody, I'm being positive for the holidays. Woo! I watched The Grinch. Fuck! And I held it down. And then I got sick. And then I started fucking complaining a little bit. But that's what it took. Everybody breaks. All of the chuds fucking break, man. The real ones, the player characters. Life will break you, man. And trying to put a silver lining on it, trying to twist it, it's like, hey, you know what? I used to break just living my regular ass day-to-day fucking life. And now I gotta get sick and down in the dumps. Now I have to fucking be forced to laze around for a few weeks. And then some negative complaining comes out. But you know what? It takes more to break me these days, boys. I'm built different. This chud's built fucking different. And I've been saying that for a long time and people haven't believed it. But I think people are starting to believe. But it doesn't even matter. I'm starting to believe. Sink or swim, chuds. That's what 2026 is. We've had a long time to observe what's going on, man. Obviously, things have been off since 2020. What I said on stream today is that I was ahead of the curve. I've always been ahead of the curve. And that sounds like some bragging shit, but it's a curse, okay? Because when there's trends that fuck up your life and you get sucked into that trend 5 to 10 years early, well, that means your life's going to get fucked up 5 to 10 years early. That's exactly what happened, okay? The shitstorm hit my life really more like, we'll say 2016. Things were already falling apart before then, but that's when I tried to make it as a rapper the first fucking time. 10-year anniversary is blowing it, baby, but I didn't blow it. I got fucked over. I didn't know anything about the industry. I wasn't as good. I wasn't as about it back then. I didn't know what I was about. And I think oftentimes in the spiritual reality, you see patterns and numbers, and 10 years, 10-year anniversary, well, that's a really good time to open up the fucking gates and make some shit happen in your fucking life, man. Because I sank into the swamps, but before I started going off on that rant about sinking into the swamps or whatever, okay, so it wasn't quite 10 years. Shit was already weird in my life in 2014. Actually, holy fuck, it actually was 10 years. It literally has been 10 years. Yeah, so I'm 10 years ahead of the curve. I was about to explain how, okay, so I wasn't quite 10 years ahead of the curve, but I was just being nice, because really it's more than 10 years. Things were already weird in 2014 and 2015. Really, I'm like fucking 12 years ahead of the curve, boys. But I was searching in 2014. I was searching in 2015. So I started the search. I smelt that something was off, and I declared, okay, it was really maybe like 2017. Okay, we're trying to be humble here. It's hard when you're MOGGY JR. It's hard to be humble. I'm about 9 years ahead of the curve, boys. But this is how I explain my life. I got hit with the double fucking blammy. Okay? I was ahead of the curve. So my life started crashing into weirdness a solid, like, 4 or 5 years. Oh, there's the math. There's what it is. Yeah, it's been 10 years from now. But the normies started to feel it in 2020. Okay, now we're understanding. So I was maybe 4 to 6 years ahead of the curve. It doesn't matter, but that's what I was trying to explain. So it hits me like 4 to 6 years early. So my life was already fucked up from like the second half of my 20s. I did have some fun in my early 20s. 20 to 23, 24. I got to really, remember those times and just be like, hey, man, you were playing in bands. You lived with a bunch of dude bros playing death metal. You went on tour. You tried. Every once in a blue moon, you got laid. You got a blowjob in a car once. You just got to fucking, understand that you did live. It's never enough. It's never enough. And sometimes I'm like, God, why me? Why did you suck me into this black hole of reading books and waking up and being isolated and learning things about the world and experiencing it before the masses did? So I was ahead of the curve. Then 2020 hit. I got hit with the double blammy. I got hit with the first blammy before the normies did. And then 2020 happened. And I was already going through, I wasn't really going through shit when 2020 happened. That was when the fucking black hole portal opened and all kinds of crazy shit happened. And yeah, for me, some fucking shit came out of that portal. Real ones know what I'm talking about. I'm not even going to get into that again. I've been over it over and over and over again. And that chapter is kind of past at this point. We're moving on. We're moving on from the whole shit. So the double blammy. I was ahead of the curve. I was feeling it before the shit hit the fan. And then the black hole opened up in 2020 and a lot of chaos came out of there, boys, for all of us. For us as individuals. I'm sure it's manifesting in all of your lives. Your lives have encountered some sort of a unique struggle on top of the global struggle that came out of 2020, if you know what I'm saying. It's been 6 years. Time is moving, a lot of time has gone past. What you got to do, guys, is you got to look at that time. And as a millennial, it's brutal because I was still in my fucking 20s, man. I was still in my 20s. I'm turning 35 soon. And you just have to understand I was learning during those times. I was growing. I was experiencing. I was developing myself. I was training. I was developing the 865 blammy. Okay? I think we're going to have to... I think I have officially gotten to the point where it's I can make a video how to build your power. How to build your punching power. I mean, I've showed that I can blammy an 865. Dudes are DMing me being like, man, I watched this UFC fighter hit the machine. He only got an 830. Okay, I'm mogging some UFC fighters. So now that shit has to land. I'm just saying that if you stand still with your hands behind your back and let me hit you as hard as I can, that's not going to be a good time. But I'm just saying, with the lack, with the isolation, with the negative, there has been some good. There has been some development. Sometimes I only focus on the negative. It's really important that I learn how to not only focus on the negative. Because sometimes I feel like I'm on the verge of a fucking meltdown, man. It's I've been isolated for 10 fucking years. I barely even remember how to build a life or have a fucking life. But I do have a life. I am building a life. I've been building a life and it's hard. Anything worthwhile is fucking hard. A lot of people took the easy road. There's nothing wrong with that. But for all of those who didn't take the easy road, you got to try not to resent the people who did. Because you took the path less traveled. So, what I was saying on stream today, I was doing a little survey in my chat. I was like, how many of you guys throughout the week walk into a room where people are like, hey Chud, hey Simon, hey Garfunkel, hey Billy, how's it going? How are you doing? Even if it's the most base level, superficial horseshit. I have that at the gym. I walk by, people at the counter, hey, how's it going? Good. And then I go up and work out. That's it. Maybe a couple of old guys. There's a couple of old guys that recognize me at the gym, and I say hi to them. It's not great. It's not much, but I got it. I actually have a little bit more than that too. There's some stuff in my life that I don't talk about because I have a life outside of the stream. But I will level with you. It's not glorious, okay? I don't have a fucking family and a girlfriend and a wife and stacks of fucking money and a glorious career, okay? I don't have a fucking glorious life that I'm hiding from you. But there is a little bit of people in my life. Some people that even go beyond just the gym. But I'm asking people in my chat, do you have that? And a lot of people said, I don't even have that. Nobody says hi to me. Nobody knows my name. Nobody says, hey, how's it going? Nobody acknowledges me. That is the state of a lot of men right now. And I will tell you that for the majority of my experience, I experienced that for the most part, okay? It's kind of few and far between when I get a hookup with my peeps. So that's bad. And what happens is that men have a way of like trying to hold it in, trying to be quiet about it, because you already know. I'm a man, and I'm supposed to be a man, and men don't blah, 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 blah. But it gets bad, and it doesn't get better, and you can't figure out how to get out of it. You can't figure out how to get anybody to give a flying fuck about you. And you're aging alone, and you're growing alone. And then, you know, if you do get some fucking sweetie come lately on Tinder to have a stupid, meaningless hookup and then get ghosted, guess what? That doesn't really make it much better, okay? And maybe I'm not some expert about that, but hand over my heart, honest to God truth, there was 2 occasions in Vegas where some ladies on Tinder were down to hook up with me, and I fucking ghosted them, dude. You ever seen the movie Sex Drive? In the movie Sex Drive, those guys are like, yo, what's up, ladies? You want to hang out? You want to smoke? You want to bang? What's up? You want to hit my bong? You want to drink this beer? Yeah, let's get it, baby. You're looking so fine. And then what happens is the girls walk away from those guys throughout the entire movie. And then at the very end of the movie, they're in a car, and it's like the main chick that the guy was going for from the internet. It's like, hey, what's up, baby? You want to hang out? You want to chill? You want to smoke? You're looking good. Damn, I like those legs. And she walks up to the car. She's like, actually, boys, I do want to party. And it's the funniest shit. It's like one of the funniest moments in any movie, dude. The guys like make this little pathetic look at each other, and then they look down all defeated, and then they roll up the window. I don't know what it was, man. They were all right. Just some random chicks in Vegas. There's very few and very far between. I think what it was is like in that particular moment, I wasn't ready to like perform. You know, I've been honest about there's been some ups and downs. Like these are problems that guys deal with for years and years and years and years of isolation, man. Okay, it's like I'm trying to like get to know a girl and go on some dates and kind of have a fucking romance, dude. Okay, I feel like a random sexual encounter is really like a lot of pressure on me to be a fucking porn star. And I guess in that particular moment, that's just not how I was fucking feeling, dude. And then you look back and you regret it, and it's all stupid, man. This whole fucking way that the modern society is hooked up, it's trash. It's trash. And a lot of us have been living in trash for a long fucking time. What I'm saying is that you think about trying to speak out about it, and then somebody's like, well, what do you have to offer, Bucky? And, well, whose fault is that? And who's to blame for that? And ultimately, the title of this video is Sink or Swim, Chud. And it's kind of related to the saying that I hate, that nobody's coming to save you. People love to say that shit on the internet like it's super deep. Like that's advice for men. What I said on stream today is, it's not advice, it's just reality. And sometimes just like saying reality, like, hey, 2 + 2 is 4. Ooh, I'm so fucking smart. Sometimes just saying the obvious reality doesn't really amount to much. But yeah, the whole like, nobody's coming to save you, that is the reality. And we've known about this reality for a long time. A lot of gems were being given on stream today. It's just kind of mixed in with some other chaos. That's why I got to come and reiterate it in this video. What it comes down to, boys, is you gotta believe. You have to believe before anybody else believes. And I feel like Brent Smith lifestyle, the last thing I want to do is throw any shade at the guy. I feel like he's not one of the PUA guys who was super successful with his advice. But I feel like his advice was the best. And it stuck with me my entire life. I've read some other PUA guys. The 3% man. And by the way, that was the last date I went on in Vegas. I think I could have invited her inside and had a one-night stand. It was a date that was going to lead, and then maybe it wouldn't have been a one-night stand. Honestly, that was probably just, I had already seen her at school a little bit, and that was probably supposed to be the first night. And I was feeling pretty salty after that, because it's like, oh man, all I had to do was ask her inside, and I didn't. I was like, oh, well, want me to make you dinner next weekend? And it was fucking over. It was over by next weekend, because that's how this shit works anymore, dude. Everything's just... And then people say, like, oh, it's because you have autism. It's like, no, I think you're actually kind of just a regular fucking guy who's not really wired with this new internet world that so many people seem to be so lined up with, man. People are having these hookups like motherfuckers throwing ninja stars and shit. And, but yeah, the 3% man, that's the point of bringing that up. As I was using his advice, and it was whatever. He pretty much just says, oh, ask girls a bunch of questions. It's like you're doing an interview. And, you know, I remember that. It's really simple advice. That's like the only fucking thing I remember from his system. Honestly, the guy was just like really arrogant and smug, and that's kind of like what led his whole thing. And he's kind of just like a cult of personality, and it's whatever, dude. I'm not saying his advice was bad. But Brent Smith lifestyle, you can still find some of his videos floating around. I wish there was more, man. I wish I could find all of his old videos, because it's gold. What you want to find is the videos where he's reading somebody's email. It's like, hey, Brent, I was talking to a girl, and I got her number. He's like, okay, cool. And he gives his commentary. His commentary is gold. It's like, so I got home. I started texting her, and it's like, you see, you're reaching out. You're being needy. She didn't text for a couple of hours, so I sent her another text. Yeah, you double texted. You're being super needy. Like, his whole entire vibe, it's more than just like a bag of tricks. It's more than dating advice. It's like, it's your entire life advice, bro. And it's founded upon the law of attraction. Creating a story and believing it. But what I said on stream today is that if I had anything to add to it, okay, because you can just create the story. It's like, oh, well, I'm the coolest, biggest, buffest, most awesome, smartest, most talented. Every time I walk into the room, everybody wants to meet me. I have amazing charisma. And then he says, you know, believe it. And then sometimes it's like, I can't believe it. It's like, well, it's because you know it's not fucking true. It's because you know it's not true. So you want to create that amazing story about yourself, but you gotta make it believable. You're the one who makes it believable, and you're the first one who believes it. And then when you start believing this crazy story about yourself, you start living it, okay? And the moves that you're making are in line with this idea. It's like, why did I just do what I just did? Because I'm Giga Chad. Because Chad does what Chad wants. Because you're starting to act in line with the story you have about yourself. And anything that tries to like upset that story, that tries to disprove it, there will be people who try to get in your way. There will be people who want to knock the chip off your shoulder. You gotta smear them. You gotta smear them, bro. Because at this point in the game, guys, what does everything look like in society? What does it look like everybody's headed? It just looks like people are gonna fucking sit in their coom pods and stare. It's like, oh, the Jake Paul boxing match is on this weekend. Oh, the Adam 22 boxing match is on this weekend. Oh, Clavicular's at the club. Oh, Nick Fuentes is live. They're just gonna sit there and watch the appointed influencers and do nothing, man, and rot away and coom and be a gooner. Sink or swim. You gotta sink or swim, man, and it starts with belief. And it's okay to shoot for the stars. It's okay to shoot for the stars. And when you start trying to tap into this positivity, you best believe some nasty feelings. It's like a metaphysical energy. I've been watching this guy, My Dark Exploration. It's either My Dark Exploration or My Dark Explorations. He's talking about, the simulated reality stuff. He says that we are light beings and darkness is feeding off of our energy. And that darkness is like an entity or a lot of entities or a realm where there's kinds of entities. It's creepy shit, okay? And these things do not want you to discover the power of positivity. Seriously, man, I'm going all in on The Secret, Law of Attraction. It was one of the first books I ever read. My grandpa, my mom's side, that's the John Adams, Moggy, big brain side. He was an inventor. He took me into a bookstore when I was like 15, and he's like, okay, pick out any book. And I picked out I was like 16, it was the summer leading to my junior year. Leading to the first time I started smoking weed and drinking and all that. But, yeah, he told me to pick any book in the bookstore, and I picked some, like, music theology book, like Idiot's Guide to Theology. He's like, okay, fine, I'll get you that book, but also pick a real book with words in it that's actually, like, a book, not just music stuff. And I picked The Secret. That's where it all started, guys. For me, that was baby's first red pill, and it just opened up and spouted this big ocean. That's where it all started. That was before Alex Jones. That was before any of it. I didn't start watching Alex Jones and Jordan Maxwell till right before I moved to Vegas. I was getting into that shit right before moving to Vegas, 2014. 2014, yeah. So that I was still in high school when I read The Secret. And I read it really quick, and I got all excited. I was like, oh, manifesting, believing, self-belief. And now that I think about it, guys, it's like the patterns in my life, the way things weave back and forth and lead back into each other. This is a big moment for it to go all the way back to the beginning, to where I can be like, yep, that was it. That was the origin point. We've come full circle. We're here. It's time. You have to unlock this belief in your mind. Now, where people get lost is the manifesting, bro. Like, you really think you're going to manifest stuff into your life? Yes. It's just hard for you to comprehend how it works. And it's in line with a respect for a higher power and a belief in God. It's in line with what Jesus taught. Jesus said to ask for something in prayer and believe that you will receive it, and you will. But what's the problem? Why doesn't it work? Because the doubt always comes creeping in. And I would add this esoteric Chuddy Mogger guy, My Dark Explorations. We are light beings, and the darkness that surrounds us feeds off of your energy, and it wants you to stay weak, because the only strength that matters is the strength to realize what's happening. Okay? So it's like, well, Stoic, if they want you to be weak, then wouldn't that make less light energy for them to absorb? See, you're an idiot, and this is stupid New Age bullshit. Strength is freedom. Understanding I'm not free, and I want to be free, and I can be free. That's when they come for you, bro. And I would say some of the shit that I experienced, like the GS shit, that is like the last ditch effort. It's like, this guy's chasing his dreams. This guy thinks he can do big things. This guy thinks that he can take control of his life. It's the last fucking ditch effort, bro. Because they don't want you to wander off of the loosh farm, bro. They don't want you to realize that you don't have to take this shit. They're the darkness and you are the light. You are a light being. You're not meant to just have your aspirations and your dreams and your essence fucking absorbed by this dark void. by these miserable creatures in this dark void. These things can't create, they can only absorb. And I think that their kind is being seen in humanity. Like, I don't know exactly how it works, but you look at how a lot of people act, all they do is judge, all they do is hurt, all they do is cause harm, all they do is try to tear down. These people's mindset is very in line with the darkness, and this all goes back to my video, Enlightenment, Awakening, whatever that was a few videos ago, where I'm saying that the world gives you suffering, and then they try to convince you that it's your fault. And people who cause other people to suffer, they get left alone because they're working for the darkness without even realizing it. So you got to sink or swim, Chuddy. You got to realize that all the power is within you. And then people are like, wait a minute, that's not in line with God, that's not in line with Jesus. No, God and Jesus, they want you to have all the power. They want you to act. They want you to be empowered. They're the ones that you thank when you get where you're going. But you need to realize that you can do it. You can do what you want to do. You have to always believe. You have to always have unrelenting belief in yourself, and the dark thoughts will continue to push back. They will continue to push back. It's like you're having this sparring match, this never-ending match with this dark entity. And it's going to be a never-ending process, not a never-ending process if you ever make it to the other side, of the darkness trying to push you back into your place. Your place is their place, where you don't think you can be free, where you don't think there's any escape, where you don't think there's anything better for you, and you just suffer so the darkness can leech off your loosh. Okay? Unrelenting self-belief. But you gotta get up. Be somebody. Gotta get up. You gotta put the effort in. Gotta put in the effort. You gotta put in the time. But the entire time that you're doing it, you should always be rejoicing. I think that's one of the most important things. Everything Jesus said was fire flames. But he said to always be rejoicing. When you're rocking with Jesus, it's all good and it's all taken care of. Why? Because you're eventually going to get what you want. Now, if there is a place where the chaos magic weirdo people who are basically just trying to do magic and the people in line with God and the higher power branch off, it's this understanding that God knows what's best for you. You want to be your own God, your own deity, and decide everything, but you don't know what's best for you. And you know what movie I feel like encapsulates this perfectly? Bruce Almighty with Jim Carrey. It really hit me last time I watched it, man. That scene where he's walking in the rain and he gets on his knees and he says, okay, God, you win. I don't want to do this anymore. I give it all up to you. I feel like that was unintentionally one of the most powerful Christian scenes in any movie. Because this is not something that would be in like a Christian movie. People would see it as disrespectful. Like, oh, Jim Carrey just being a goofball with all of God's powers. But all he tries to do is aggrandize himself in his own life. And he only had power over his town. And it looked like the world was about to end because everything went to shit. Because all he could do is think about himself, and he pushed his wife away, and he realized that he wasn't able to get her back. With all of God's powers, he could not figure out how to get her back. And he surrendered to God. He said, God, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be God anymore. You shouldn't want to be your own God. I think that's where a lot of wisdom comes from, is realizing that at the end of the day, this life that God created for me, it's better than a life that I could have created. Certainly when I was 15 or 16 or 17 or even now at 34. God has a better plan for you than you could have for yourself. But you got to believe, man. The belief works hand in hand. You got to believe it's God's plan. You got to believe that God wants you to win. You got to believe that it looks a certain way, but over the hill there's something amazing on the other side. And when you get there, your faith will be unmovable. I had a couple of negative comments on stream, like, okay, so I gave my life over to Christ and nothing got better. Then what? Then what? That's mainly just in regards to church. I don't want to put any negativity out there about church. It's just, this is the part where people are like, oh, it's because you're not a Mormon. Oh, it's because you're not a Catholic. Oh, it's because you are a Catholic. Like, you got to come to our church. You got to come to our church. It ends up being like theological debates and advertisements for a bunch of different churches. And unfortunately, I feel like that's where it just kind of, as somebody who studied theology, it's like, oh, you got to come to my church. That's when God's plan really works for you. And it just ends up being an advertisement for a bunch of different competing churches because there are a bunch of different competing churches. And that's the question that a lot of atheists have. It's like, okay, let's say Christianity's right. Which of the 1,000 denominations do I choose? I recommend the one where you just believe. You believe that there is a God, that Christ did die for you, and that this is all for a reason. And for God's plan to really start having an effect in your life that makes a difference, you have to have unwavering belief. And people around you will try to shut you down. And weird things will happen. And you'll have nightmares. And you'll have the dark night of the soul. Because this is the real awakening. I've said a lot of things are the real awakening. But it's in line with the last video. The world gives you suffering and says, this is your fault. And part of this is like, nope, it's not my fault. I did make some mistakes. It's a minor setback. Every fucking horrible, traumatic thing that you've ever faced in your life, no matter how bad, it's a minor fucking setback. And now we're going to start skitting it. That's the winning mindset, you guys. For everything. For everything in life. Everything up until now was a minor setback. And now we start winning. And you got to be careful when you look back. You got to be careful when you look around because all kinds of people are eating shitbag sandwiches, boys. All kinds of people are having bad times now. And it's like, well, what does that mean? Were these people meant to suffer? And why do they deserve to suffer? When people are talking about hell, hell is all around us. There's people living in hell right now, bro. You might be living in hell right now because these dark things want you to suffer. And they want you to think it's your fault. And they want you to think that you're helpless. It all starts with infinite belief. Just huge, unfathomable confidence. Of all the normie advice, like girls, like guys, we're confident. Gotta be confident, bro. Deep reservoirs of confidence. Something that is worth contemplating. You can literally just like sit on a couch, meditate, something close to meditation, listen to music, and just sit there. What does it mean for me to believe in myself? What does it mean for me to be confident? What does that look like? Brent Smith, I hate to rip this guy off, but it's just kind of like gold standard advice. Type up a little document about yourself, but don't try to like mock the exercise. Like, oh, I'm Chuddy, Gigamoder, Chatty Chad the third, and I'm 7 feet tall, and everywhere I go, I mog, and don't try to just make it a big stupid joke, because then you'll be like, okay, well, am I Chatty Gigamogger the third who's 7 feet tall? No, I'm not. This is stupid. You got to make it real, boys. There's a fork in the road at this point. You can either follow the self-belief where Jesus is at and don't get lost along the way on some Bruce Almighty shit where it's like, oh, I'm my own God and make my own plan. I feel like I've already followed that path into fucking bad places before. And I don't want to fuck up anymore, boys. Unrelenting self-belief. Everything bad that happens along the way is a challenge. It's a different level in the video game. It's a minor setback. When you're trying to write a book, it's like there's a conflict. There's a climax to the conflict. Like In your life, there is a struggle. Life is just struggle. And you get to a point where it's like, okay, I'm basically playing the video game of life. And of course there's challenges. And I'm supposed to outsmart these challenges. You can't when you're depressed. You can't when you're helpless. When you're in that place where it's like, I've been stuck for a long time. I don't know what to do. I can't move. It feels hopeless. It's over. And then you consume a bunch of black pill, B pill content. And that's where they want you to be, bro. That's right where they want you to be, man. Get up. Keep walking in the right direction. Never stop. Moggy Jr. drops a week from this Sunday. Let's get it. God bless.